Good morning, everyone. Thanks you for coming to another VIROO webinar. And I promise that this is one of the that I'm most excited about because I'm going to talk about one of the most requested features to come to VIROO. And as you remember, in VIROO 3.0, we have introduced the compatibility with VIROO standalone apps. So you no longer need to have a powerful PC in order to run all the VIROO apps that you are creating. And today what we are going to do is we are going to show you how to create a simple app, really straightforward, just a simple use case. And then what elements you have to take into account in order to be able to export that to an Android APK, how to install it in the headset, and then I will try to show you a live demo of an actual VIROO app running in the headset. It's going to be similar to the one that I'm going to try to do here, but since we have like a little bit of time, probably I'm going to do like 3-4 steps, and then you are going to show like a little bigger version of that application. So let's do this. Remember that I have here the chat, so whatever question you may have, please feel free to pop it in the chat. I will try to look from time to time and try to answer all the questions live, okay? So remember that, as I said, one of the biggest new features in VIROO 3.0 is the ability to publish VIROO Android standalone apps. What that means is that with VIROO Studio, which is the tool that we provide, it's a Unity project that you download from our website. In fact, you can go right here. If you go to the VIROO website, which is virtualware.com, virtualwarecode.com/VIROO, we have here the brand new website that we have recently launched, so you can have a better understanding of what exactly VIROO provides. Remember, if you are new to here and you don't know what VIROO is about, is a multi-user XR platform that is going to allow you to create XR apps that are going to be by default multi-user and multi-device. So you can join where you are using a headset, if you are using just the regular keyboard and mouse with your flat screen, or if you are in a large-scale immersive room that we provide, you can connect with people all across the globe, no matter where you are and no matter what kind of content you want to invest. So the good thing is that you can create for VIROO if you are an advanced developer. You can use your full knowledge to develop whatever kind of applications you want with Unity using your own custom scripting, but we provide simplified tools for people that are no developers. In fact, I'm not a programmer myself. Everything that I'm going to do live today is going to be without using any kind of C# component. And the good thing is that if you go to the Create for VIROO button here in our website, you can download VIROO Studio for free. VIROO Studio for Unity, remember, this is a Unity project that once you click it, it's going to download. You can open with the Unity Hub, and it's going to have all the tools that you need to start creating content for VIROO. As you can see, we have predefined components that you just need to drag and drop through the game objects, select what kind of method you want to launch, and it's going to start working. And the good thing is that this is all multi-user by default, as I said before. So where you only need to focus on the content that you are creating. You don't need to manage all the networking, which devices people are going to join the session. You just need to worry about what kind of content you want to create it, publish it, no matter if it's a Windows application that you are going to then launch with a single player app that we provide, which is this one. In case that you have a powerful PC and you want to join even in 2D mode or connecting it to a headset, you will need to use the single player app. You will just log in with your credentials, create a new session, or join an already existed session. The good thing is that if you want to create a standalone app to run in this kind of headset, the MetaQuest headset, the one that I have here, and you don't want to depend on a powerful PC, and it's going to run natively here. So imagine that you want to buy inside your company tons of MetaQuest headsets to distribute through all your employees. You just need to buy the headsets, then create something with VIROO Studio, and with an active license, you will all need or will be able to join this kind of sessions. So again, just download the project. You can start testing it for free. As long as you don't create a session, you don't need a license. So you can test it out whatever you may want in Unity. You can test it in VR if you want, but if you want to create a multi-user session, you will need to contact us to purchase a VIROO license. And we'll offer trial licenses for you if you want to test the system and see what can provide to you. But I assure you that this is something really cool because, again, XR can improve many processes inside your organization. No matter if it's for training, for design and prototyping, for design review, if you would just want to make some brainstorming, connecting people all across the globe, seeing these kind of 3D models in a one-to-one scale, and if you have a bureau room, which is the best experience possible, you can move around and you can create this kind of content really easily. Again, feel free to download it, test it out, and reach us if you have any questions. But the good thing that to take into account is that now that you can provide or you can publish Android standalone apps, but there are some things that you have made to deal with it. For now, the app distribution is going to be customer managed. That means that VIROO is not going to deploy and distribute the APK that you are going to publish with VIROO Studio. You have to do that yourself. In this case, I'm going to work now with VIROO Studio. I'm going to publish my app, and then I'm going to manually install it in the MetaQuest headset. So that's the way that it deals. If you're using the single player, it works different because this is a Windows standalone or Windows application. And once you upload it to the system, it's going to distribute that application to every user. And if you want to join a session, it's going to check if the content is automatically updated. And it's going to synchronize all the content to the latest version through all the users. This is not happening right now with the standalone apps. Okay, so but probably all the companies that have like tons of MetaQuest across the entire organization, they already are using a deploy system or distribution services such as Arbor or even the MetaQuest distribution service that they provide. So those companies already tend to use this kind of tools in order to spread their content through all the flow of headsets. So this is something that you can do, or you can do it manually if you want. But if you update your app, you have to distribute again so everyone have the latest version. So this is the important thing to take into consideration, that the content that you are going to be developing, you have to manually pass it to the headset. It's not going to be uploaded to the cloud and then distributed through everyone. You can upload it to the portal if you want. You have a space for that. And then people can download it manually from there and install it in the headset, but it's not a standalone version of the single player. So each application that you develop is going to be a separate application that is going to be inside the headset, and then you're going to be able to run it. So since there are no questions at this time, I'm going to start creating the content and show you what kind of content I want to create and then how it runs in the headset. So let me put this in full screen. And in this case, I'm going to use one of the VIROO templates that we provide. This is a really, really useful one. We created a webinar about it, and this is an assembly template that we provide. So this is going to help you to introduce here or import a 3D model and then select different parts and let the user assembly the full 3D model by putting the correct parts in the correct place in a specific order. So this is going to be really useful, and this kind of template really streamlines this kind of process, and you can do this in minutes, which you are going to see right now. Remember, since this is Unity, to import a 3D model is just as simple as download the 3D model from the internet. I have here an FBX of the skeleton, and once it's imported into Unity, in order to see it in your scene, the only thing you need to do is just to drag and drop it here, as you can see, and it's as easy as that. Since we are Unity based, everything that you can do with Unity is going to be available in VIROO, and we take advantage of all the good things that Unity provides, the lighting, the physics system, and all the really cool things that lets developers all around the world create amazing content. So what I'm going to do here is I have imported this skeleton, and I'm going to select like different parts that I want to be placed in a specific order. And then I'm going to also add like audio instructions and feedback that is going to guide the user through the whole content, okay? And you are going to see how easy it is to create, and that I don't have to create any custom code or anything like that. It's all going to be visual scripting, no need to open Visual Studio, no need to have any programming knowledge. But if you do, again, you can always use that knowledge in order to provide or improve your content by creating custom scripts and mixing all together. So you can use the VIROO interaction system or the templates that we provide. You can create your own custom scripting. You can use the Unity visual scripting system, and no matter which of the three you use, and you can combine those in order to create the content that you want. So let's jump right into it to see how easy it is to create. So the first step that I want to create, we have here the VIROO lobby. This is an empty space that we provide if you don't want to worry about finding any 3D asset online. This is like an empty space that we provide if you just want to test your content or have like an empty space so people feel in a specific physical place where the content is going to take place, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start creating like a trigger. A trigger is going to detect the player when the player reaches a certain point and is going to start the content. In this case, I have the player start. This is a game object that we include in the VIROO Studio template, and is going to determine where exactly in my scene the player is going to start. So whenever I press play, the player is going to be placed exactly in that place and looking at the direction that I have specified before in the system. So the good thing is that now I can move around. I could also, this is really important, this is as easy as that if I want, I could publish this content right away, put it in the headset and create a multi-user session. So if the only thing I want to do is just to have a look at some kind of 3D models in a full scale in VR and chatting with other people all across the globe, it's as easy as that. Just import your content in VIROO Studio, publish your content if it's in Windows or in an Android APK, and then you can create a session and just move around with others and start seeing things in a one-to-one scale. But the good thing, of course, is making things interactable. So let's see how to do that. So the first step that I want to do, I'm going to check if there's any comments. There are not. So I'm going to search for a prefab that we provide that is going to detect whenever the player reaches a certain point and launches a specific event. So in this case, I'm going to go here through assets. I'm going to go to prefabs, completables, and then I have here templates. And one of the templates is player trigger completion. Again, this is something that we have pre-configured. It has some specific C# scripts that we have created for you, and it's going to detect the collider at the body of the player whenever it reaches a certain point. So in this case, I'm going to drag and drop it here, and it's going to appear in my scene, and the only thing I need to do is just put it in wherever place I want. In this case, since the player is going to start here, and the skeleton is right away, I'm going to put it like in the middle. So whenever I do that, if I press play, I'm going to see how the system loads. Let's just give it a minute for that. Oh, I'm in another view, sorry, because I'm in maximize mode. So I'm going to press play, the system is going to load, it's going to place me here, and as you can see, I have here the trigger. So whenever I put inside the trigger, okay, it's going to detect when the player, but I need to add it to the sequence. What exactly means that? That I can make things interactable, but if I don't add it to the sequence manager, they are not going to be part of a process that I need to be completed step by step. So in this case, I need to go to my sequence manager. I'm going to delete some of the things that I have configured before and clear the console. And I'm going to add this trigger, but I'm going to change its name. So it's not going to be called player trigger completion. I'm going to call it welcome trigger. And I'm going to add a W since we are in a webinar, so I can identify that better in the sequence manager. And I can even go here. I can put it the same name right away so I can identify it better. And I even have here all the components that we have and how it then is going to work inside my sequence manager. So if I go into my sequence manager now, this is the component that is going to manage all the sequence in the specific order that I'm going to give. So I can go here and I can add a step that I want to be completed. So in this case, I just search. These are all the steps that I have configured. Some of them were configured before and you haven't seen those, but I'm not going to use them. I'm going to create brand new ones. This is why I added a W, because I wanted to identify it better. So this is the welcome trigger that I just published. So in this case, now if I press play, it's going to be the first step to be completed inside my process. So in this case, I have the trigger, and whenever I jump to, as you can see, it's going to be reflected in this canvas that you can show it if you want, or you cannot, but you have like a system that is going to be reflecting all the steps that are taking place and in the specific order, and how many amount of time the user invests in order to complete that process. So it's as simple as that. So let's go to create like a feedback audio. So to give an instruction to the player so it knows what exactly it needs to do. So in this case, again, here in the prefabs, in the templates, I have like audio completion. So I can add a new one here. I'm going to go to my training pill webinar. I'm going to drag and drop it here. I'm going to change the name. I'm going to call it Welcome Audio W. I'm going to select the name because I want to change it again here. And as you can see, it's just drag and drop game objects to my scene. And then I'm going to change the ID here. This is the name that is going to be displayed in the canvas. So in this case, I'm going to call it just Welcome Audio. So in this case, now that this is a completable part, this audio is something that by the way, I need to change. I have here an audio source, so I can go around to all the audio clips that I have in my project. I'm going to change this to the welcome human audio. Let's hope that this is going to sound.
Welcome.
So this is the audio that I want to share with the player, so it knows what to do. And now, since this is a completable part or completable step, I can go here to my sequence manager, add a new step, and select my welcome audio. Welcome audio W, since this is the one that I have created here. Now, whenever I press play, let's see if this works. It's going to load the system. I have here the first step, which is jump inside the trigger, and then...
Welcome. Your task is to place each bone in its correct position in the human body.
I think it's playing right now. I don't have the ability to to hear the sound since I'm sharing the audio. I don't want the audio to be duplicated. But as you can see, the audio has been played, and now the user knows what exactly needs to do. The only thing I need to do, of course, is to create those interactions. So I need to select like 2 different bones that I want the user to grab it and place it. So let's see how easy it is to create a grabbable game object inside VIROO Studio using this assembly template, which we already showed before. The first thing I have here is I have the assembly group editor. This is something that I've showed you before. You need to open Window, VIROO, and go to VIROO Studio Templates Assembly Group Editor. This is going to allow me to create grabbable objects and then select where those objects are going to start in my scene and where are going to be placed later. So in this case, I select my assembly group webinar. This is a game object that I have right here. Inside my training pill webinar, I have here my assembly group webinar, and this is where I have drag and drop my skeleton. Okay, this is where I drag and drop my 3D model, and it's going to have access to the hierarchy of the 3D model and let me select different parts and make them grabbable. So let's see how easy it is. In this case, I'm going to select like a start feedback. You're going to see this is really useful in the editor because when you are selecting what exact place the piece you want to start, you have a way to look exactly where the piece is and what orientation it has. So let me just show you. If here I do just feedback, I can select this one, and then I'm going to select like a piece here, which is the left humerus, and then I'm going to select this object. And I need to specify an ID and the type of game object that this is. The ID is going to be the name of the game object itself. And imagine that I have like multiple humerus or multiple left humerus that I could apply. Imagine that this is not a humerus, this is like a wheel that I want to place in a car. So you could have or you could grab whatever of the 4 wheels of the car to place it in a specific place. So you can select what kind of part can be placed in something and if it needs to be in a specific type. In this case, I only want the left humerus to be placed here, so I will put that the name of the object and the type needs to be humerus L. In this case, I'm going to create, and what this does is this creates like a start position that I can select it here. As you can see, this is why the material that I selected before is really useful, because the game object itself is going to be in that place, at least in the editor, not when I press play. So I can select which place I want these humors to be when the user starts the content. So in this case, I'm going to place it like right about here in my table. Let's put it here. This is a good spot. And just with that, whenever I press play, this part is going to be put it in that start position. But the one thing that I cannot do at this point is to place it in a specific place, because in this case, now I have the ability to grab this object. As you can see how easy it is. In just a couple of seconds, I can create grabbable parts, but I didn't specify which place I want this part to be put, so I'm going to do that right away. Let's go back to my assembly group editor. Let's select the humerus, and then I need to create like a target. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to create a target here. Again, the target needs to be of type humerus L, and I can even select like a feedback material for that target. So if I select feedback here in my materials, this is going to show me, show the user if you want, because of course you can always hide it if you want, where needs to be that part to be placed. So in this case, now that I have here my target specified, I can go back, test it again, and as you can see, whenever this is not at least part of the sequence right now, so I need to make that compatible. So in this case, let me do that just really quick. So I have here the start position, I have my humerus, and then I need to create this part completable. So it needs to be inside that sequence. So in this case, I'm going to go to my target, which is right here. As you can see, this is an object that the system has added for you. And I'm going to go to completables here in prefabs, and I'm going to add part target completable. I'm going to drag and drop it here. I can change its name, and I'm going to call it humerus LW. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to place here humerus LW. Okay, so this is the ID that again is going to show in the canvas whenever the player completes that. Now that this is a completable part, I can go to my sequence manager and I can add a third step. In this case, I'm going to go to my humerus LW. Now, whenever I join the session, let's check if we have any comments here. We don't. Okay, so let's go right away. I'm going to wait for the audio.
Welcome. Your task is to place each bone in its correct position in the human body.
I took like 5 seconds in order to go to a start position. Now I have, as you can see, my welcome audio. And then this is like a bug that I have. But now, as you can see, I have my humerus here, and it's showing me the feedback material because I specify that whenever a user needs to do something, in which step it is, it's going to show that to the user. So it's letting the user know that, hey, you need to grab now this humerus and place it right about here. As you can see, this is turning blue. Whenever I place my humerus, it's going to detect that and it's going to show it in the canvas. So it's as easy as that. As you can see, we have like feedback audios that we can add. By the way, the audio, if you're wondering how to obtain these audios, is really, really simple. You can go from different websites. In this case, this is like text-to-speech MP3 maker. So this is like the welcome audio that I created. So you just need to write whatever text you may want. You generate the audio. It downloads an MP3 player, and then you are going to be able to put that MP3 player right in your system. So whenever I go here to my feedback audio, this is the welcome audio, and this is all the MP3 that I have created for free just using AI and text-to-speech system. So you don't need to go and record that yourself. So this is how easy it is to obtain 3D models from the web, obtain 3D audios that are going to improve the kind of content that you can create here with VIROO Studio. So let's just add like another step, and then we will jump to the MetaQuest headset so you can see what kind of content you can create. So let's select again my assembly group. I'm going to select like a different part. I'm going to select the thorax here, the thorax. And then I'm going to add again an ID. In this case, this is thorax. Since I don't have any other, let me add again like the material here. And then I'm going to create that. So again, I need to select this is something that, again, how to use this assembly template. We already explained it in the previous webinar, but I'm trying to do it slowly so you can follow me. I need to select the starting position, and I'm going to put it again right on top of the table. So this is great because I have here, now I know where exactly is going to start the thorax, and if I select the humerus, I know where the humerus is going to start. So again, now I can select the thorax again, and I'm going to create a target for that. So it has created a target game object for me. And again, I need to add a part target completable here in order to add it to the sequence manager. So I go to assets, prefabs, let me go to completables, part target completable, and just drag and drop it through the target element here. Let me change its name. This is the thorax. I'm going to add a W here. And then if I go through the ID, it's going to add thorax. Now I can go to my sequence manager and we are going to add another part, which is the thorax. But I want to do something different. Before testing this out, I want to add an audio. Whenever the user places a specific part, is going to give a feedback audio telling something interesting from that part. So I'm going to do that right in the middle whenever the user places the humerus and before the thorax step jumps in. So let me do that. I'm going to go to my audio completables. I'm going to go here to my training pilot manager. I'm going to add another audio here, and I'm going to call it audio humerus LW, because this is going to be an audio about the left humerus that the user is going to place in the correct position. So this is, of course, an audio that is placed inside the environment, and you can make that to only be heard in a specific place. But if not, let me just activate here the gizmos. As you can see here, this is like in a speaker, and I can place it right right next to the humerus, and make the system that only this shows this audio, displays this audio to the people that are close to it. But in this case, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make it like spatial. It's going to be able to listen to that whenever in the room the user is. So, but I'm going to place it near, because if I go to my sequence manager, I can follow all the steps that the user needs to do. In this case, I have identified that the welcome audio is not placed in the correct place. So now whenever I grab the sequence manager, as you can see, I have here all the different steps that the user needs to be started. It's going to start here, then it's going to go to the trigger, it's going to receive a welcome audio, and then it's going to place the humerus and it's going to get an audio feedback about that. Let's change the audio feedback about the humerus. Let's go here. Let's go to my humerus audio, humerus here, and then let's add it to the sequence manager. Since this is by default a completable part, I can go here and I can have, where is humerus LW? And then I'm going to change the order. This is how easy it is to change the order of the steps. Now I welcome the player through the trigger, I launch the audio, then it needs to place the humerus and then the thorax, but now I'm going to change it right here, right away. So now in this case, whenever I press play, let's see if this works. Sometimes when I do things live, something can go wrong, but let's hope that this is working.
Welcome.
So now I'm
Your
receiving
task
the audio.
is to place each bone in its correct position in the
that.
human body.
The audio has finished, so now I have like the next step that needs to be completed. In this case, I should place my humerus here. I can place it, and then I should be hearing to the audio of the humerus. If not, but which probably we are not hearing it to that, let's see what exactly needs to be completed. In this case, I think that I have here 2 steps. So I have here, I don't know why, I have like, I selected the first, the same element, so the system is not working, so let me do that again. If I select here the humerus L, which is the humerus that needs to be placed, now I need to go to the audio. Sorry about that. I selected the same element and the system didn't work. That's why the feedback of the material wasn't popping up. Now I need to activate the trigger. I receive the audio, I place the humerus, I get the humerus audio, and then I need to place the thorax again. Let's see if this works. This always happens whenever you are developing. You just need to test and try it again.
Welcome.
And I'm going to end the demo here, and I'm going to show you how to publish on the considerations that you have in order to publish to Standalone, and then show you how it's going to work in the Quest headsets. As you can see, now I'm getting the green feedback that I need to grab my humerus. I need to place it here, and then I need to, well, I'm getting the audio of the humerus, which I'm not hearing, but probably you are, or at least I hope you are. This is something bad that whenever I do a live, I cannot hear the system, but if not, you are going to be able to show it. Let's see why it's not exactly completely that, but if not, I'm going to change to the standalone version. So the important things, you have seen how easy it is to create different steps, how easy it is to create a grabbable part and make it placeable in a specific order using the VIROO templates. The good thing is that now I can export that into a standalone version. In order to do that, you just need to follow our documentation. So I'm going to go here. If you go to, again, to our VIROO website, you can access resources. Let's see if you have any comment here. You don't. You can go to developers and explore, and it's going to prompt you with our documentation. So this is all the documentation that you need to use if you want to create something. If you have any doubts, how you use our VIROO interactive system, how you create an app. You have like different tutorials here. Even we are going to add videos in the upcoming months. And if you want to search for something, because you want to deploy for standalone, you just search for standalone here. And for now, we are supporting every headset, a standalone headset, Android headset that supports the OpenXR standard. And we have documentation for Meta, Pico, and HTC, which are the most mainstream ones. So all the clients that we have and all the developers I know are using either of these three. So this is the only thing that you need to configure. You need to follow the steps, go to, for example, File, Build Profiles, and make sure that you have Android activated. If not, you have to download it from the Unity Hub, and then switch platforms here, which is going to show in case that you don't already have switched the platform, and it's going to adapt the project itself to an Android. And then more steps such as taking consideration that you have to have the VIROO main scene. You need to, in the VIROO main scene here, let's jump right to it. Let's go to scenes, to the VIROO main. Let's save this content. And in this scene that is included in the project, you have to have the VIROO standalone prefab drop it here. If you download the template, it's going to be automatically in that way. But many of the thing is just to make sure and ensure that these kind of checkboxes are marked. So probably all the 90% of the steps here, you have not to do it because the template that you are going to be downloading is already prepared to publish in standalone, and it has already selected the Meta Quest support. So depending on what kind of headset you are deploying, you need to configure it for Pico, for Meta. In this case, we're going to do it for Meta. But as you can see, if you are, imagine that you want to create an app for Meta Quest headset, these are the only steps that you need to follow, just to ensure that the product is compatible with Android, and then just ensure that you have this selected. But again, this already comes predefined for you, and then the rest is for Pico and HTC. So this is as easy as that. So once you have your content prepared to be published to a standalone, let's go to the skeleton assembly scene. Imagine that you are happy with your content. The only thing you need to go is you need to go to Window, VIROO, Dashboard. This is one of the new things that we have included in VIROO 3.0. This is like a dashboard that includes information about the release notes or change log about the VIROO Studio itself. You can log in with your VIROO account here. You can publish your app, and you can even upload it to your portal if you want. In this case, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to, again, manually install it in my headset. And this is the only thing you need to do. You need to specify an ID, put your application name, select the scene that you are going to work with, and then put that scene a name, and you can even include a thumbnail if you want. If you publish an app with multiple scenes and you press the VIROO menu, you will be prompted with this thumbnail so you know which content you are going to go through. So in this case, you will just need to press publish. I'm not going to do that because it will take a while and I want to show you the application that I already have running in the headset, but you will just press publish, wait like different minutes. If it's the first time you're exporting, probably it will take like 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the content. The next times it will be much faster. So in this case, now I'm going to try to cast from my headset through here. I think I have here. I'm going to put the headset on. I'm going to start casting, and let's see if this works. Just give me a minute for that. I'm going to select cast. There you go. On the web, start casting, and this should start to cast. I'm going to put it, well, I'm going to leave my camera as well so you can see how good it goes and what kind of things I'm doing at the same time. As you can see, I have here the MetaQuest environment, and I'm going to now select the VIROO app that I published yesterday, which is almost the same content that you were seeing right now. Let's select my other controller here. And whenever you install an application, you need to go to your library here in unknown sources. You need to have the developer account ready for that. So in this case, let me go here, and I have here the skeleton assembly APK. So whenever I press that, I'm going to wait a bit. I now here have the login. So I'm going to move the screen just for a moment. So you cannot see, let's see if this is working right now. Okay, so you cannot see what my password is. That would be a problem. I just need to put my username and my password. Let's do that again. Okay, so this is the VIROO account that you have to have active if you want to be able to join different sessions. And then I'm going to change here again. So the first thing that it prompts you is that no session is available right now, so I can just create a new one. And I have created a new session with a specific ID that I can share for others to join if you want. And by the way, people from different players can join if they are using just the keyboard and mouse with the flat screen, if they are using another headset, or if they are in a large-scale immersive route, they can all join this content if you have make it compatible. So let's just wait the content to load. I'm trying to peek at the screen at the same time, so I ensure that you are getting the view. So as you can see, this is the same content that is running natively on the headset, but with all the VIROO interaction system working, and it's multi-user and multi-device by default. So I can move around by pressing the joystick.
Welcome. Your task is to place each bone in its correct position in the human body.
Now the audio has been completed, and as you can see, I have here the feedback. This is like a bug I have before that I haven't tested it. I have the first step here, as you can see, is letting the user that it needs to, and this is the great thing about XR, right? Remember how I was manipulating these kind of parts when using the keyboard and mouse, but whenever I using these spatial controllers, I can have a look at the piece. This is one-to-one scale. This is the really good thing about XR, that I can have total freedom of manipulation of the objects. I have a better understanding of the skeleton itself, its size, and then in a really cool place. So I can really enjoy the training and all the information. I'm going to retain it for a longer period of time. So in this case, I'm going to place the step here.
The humerus is the long bone in the upper arm that connects the shoulder to the elbow.
Then I will need to complete the next step, which is here. I have, as you can see, because I have like more time, I spread all the parts like to rest in the table. Again, I just select this, I place it in the correct place.
The humerus was already being treated surgically in ancient Egypt, proving early medical skill.
And the good thing is that since this is XR, I can even grab things from the distance. So if I'm like in a specific place, or I don't want to move around using the teleport or the joystick with continuous movement, I can always drag and drop it from the distance and place it right here for convenience.
The thorax protects vital organs like the heart and lungs and plays a key role in breathing.
And then I'm going to go here to have the skeleton skull. This is really, really cool that I can have a look here with different perspective in a one-to-one scale. And then I'm going to place it right above here.
The skull
And this is
protects
the
the
last step.
brain and supports the structures of the face. Congratulations on placing all the bones correctly. You have completed the activity.
As you can see, I hope you're getting the audio. It prompts me with an end audio that I have completed the training, and I have here the VIROO menu. I can calibrate myself. I can enable fly mode. This is a really good one because if now I can go flying here and I can have like a better understanding of the place. Imagine that it was like an entire industry or factory, and I can move around, I can fly wherever I want, wherever I look. I can have like a better understanding of the 3D model, and it's as easy as that. Let's go back to end now because we are approaching the end time, and just to remember all the things that were working here in Unity. With the things that I was using here is the VIROO Studio template. I was using the assembly template that we provide as well for free, and it's going to allow you to select different parts, make them grabbable, make them placeable in a specific place. You can always, by the way, reset your entire sequence if you want by pressing here. You can show that to the user or not, whatever you may want. And then I have just configured the project to make it compatible with Android. I have published the app, and then I put it manually. By the way, the way that I normally do is using SideQuest, but you can use whatever method you want. I use just SideQuest. I search for the install APK right to the headset. I select my APK. This is another APK that I have. And then you just install it in your headset, log in with your VIROO account, and as you can see, it's already working. And you can even share that IDE session to share the content with others. So this is something that really excites me because I'm not a developer. I don't know how to code, and having the ability to create this kind of content, multi-user XR content and multi-device, using VIROO Studio in a couple of minutes, and then publish it in an APK that is compatible with the standalone headset, no need to use a computer, and then seeing that content that I have just created, I'm manipulating these objects, getting audio, having the opportunity to have an understanding of a one-to-one scale of all the 3 models. This is something really big. In case that you are working in education, for example, this is going to help professors and teachers to create amazing content now every week if they want. Because first or a couple years ago, you have to invest a lot of time trying to understand how coding works. You don't need to worry about coding anymore. This is something that we have included here. And in this template, by the way, everything is given to you. So imagine that you want to change something about in this case, I have here the graphable manager. You can always open the VIROO Studio notes and the graphs, and you can change whatever you want. If there's something that doesn't work the way you are intended or you want, you can always change things here and save it and create new projects. We are giving you the entire template so you can test it out, mess around with it, and create the kind of content that you may want. The important thing is that you are no longer limited to being an expert developer. You can start creating XR content and integrate that XR in your organization really soon and really quick, and start improving your work processes, because XR can really save costs and risk depending on what kind of work you are developing by creating these kind of applications that are really cool. Through the next webinars that will be coming after the summer holidays, I will create a different kind of content. This was about anatomy. We have another about industry, but imagine that you can create and make interactable with almost every sector and in the industry that can benefit from XR. So thanks again for everyone joining this. This video is going to be live on YouTube probably tomorrow or the next week. So don't worry if you haven't managed to join through the live session. You can always watch it with pace and whatever you may want. And really looking forward through the next webinars that I will be creating all the content to show you how to use VIROO and how to create this kind of powerful applications. Thanks again. Have a great summer holidays, and we will see you right away when I get back. Bye-bye.